Welcome back to Gerbs Reacts. Today we're diving into part 2 on my part 2 series on Whereabouts of Tupac. Brand new evidence in 2026. I ain't gonna say too much, so stay tuned. Let's get it.
This was in New York after the MTV Music Awards. Prior to us going home, there was an altercation about what Snoop had done over the radio while we were in the limo.
What did you tell me he told you? I know you and I had a conversation. You told me that Pac felt like he was why. What it was is that I think at the time after we did the MTV Awards, I think after we did the MTV Awards, I don't know what went down, but he wasn't too happy about it, and he didn't care about going anywhere. So he didn't feel like he didn't want to go to Vegas. I don't even think he wanted to do the video.
The last thing he said to me prior to leaving was, he's not going to be in Vegas. I don't have to worry about him showing up, and don't worry about it because he won't be there. That's what he told me right before we put him on the plane.
Suge didn't let none of my security ride with me. I had to ride on the plane with him, his homies, and Pac. And it was the most uncomfortable ride I ever had in my life because my nigga didn't say nothing to me the whole ride. And that's a 5-hour flight.
Because he had told us that he was not going there with, his words, them sellout niggas.
Because I feel like they finna try to do something to me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get off the plane, we land, he walked down the steps, I walk down the steps. We meet right here. I'm like, cuz, you going to Vegas? He do me like this.
On September the 6th, Tupac was back from New York. They were shooting a video, Toss It Up.
Like, share, follow.
Here's the second time I saw Tupac. This is a true story. Now, I don't like the conspiracy thing. But that day, he was in a convertible, like Rolls Royce. He was at the stop sign. And I was on a hockey tournament, so I was in Vegas as well, playing hockey, and Tyson had his fight. And I jumped out of the car and I ran up to his car. Pac, it's Cube! And all these cars, boom, 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 with the guns.
Get out.
No, that's Cube gun. That's Cube gun. And I go, oh, sorry, man. He goes, you good? I go, I'm good. I'm sorry, guys, got in the car. So that happens that day when the sun's out, and at night they get shot. There's no cops around. That's a true story. I was involved in that.
So in the morning, few hours later, he's gone.
Yeah. Yes. And so where were all of those undercover cops that pulled the guns on me when I tried to approach him sitting in his car convertible?
What are you saying?
I'm just saying it's weird that they were going to blow me away, and I'm Academy Award winner. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because that's 96.
Yeah.
And 96, you're like everywhere.
I'm the man.
Yeah, you're the man in
They're like,
96.
we don't care, get away, back up.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What I've just told you about the airplane journey, when we got Park on as the co-pilot.
I think it
I've actually got
next one.
footage of Park on that
Not adding
plane,
up.
and you've all been asking for
Math
evidence.
ain't
Well,
nothing. This interview right here, crazy. I'll probably get striked for this.
my name's Michael Nice. This is the video evidence for Iceni Studios. If you don't know me, I've done lots of previous videos. I'm not going to dwell on them. You need to check the channel out if you want to find out more. But tonight I'm bringing real evidence, and there's further evidence to come, and I can guarantee you and assure you that that will follow pretty quickly. But just to kick it off, a lot of you've been waiting with bated breath for everything that is about to come, so I'll start with this. First of all, me and my brother, again this is all new information, there is things I've held back for various reasons. Me and my brother were involved with the Black Panthers, with connections through Howard Marks and all the rest of it, Veronza Bowers, and the political prisoner, and we had certain tasks that we completed for the Black Panthers, and one of those tasks was the Panthers actually had information that there was a hit out on Tupac. I'll try and pronounce that correctly. All the comments about my pronunciations. Anyway, we were doing operations for the Black Panthers, me and my brother, and one of those, this all came about at the time they found out there was a hit on Tupac. There'd been previous attempts on his life, and this one they had heard was coming from a much higher level, whether that be government agencies or whatever. Me and my brother were tasked with taking footage of the MGM and the surrounding area. I've actually provided Iceni with this original footage. He's transferred it into digital format. And on that night, 7th September, me and my brother, and there was other guys involved, we got this footage, obviously to check out possible assailant routes and paths and methods and all the rest of it. With my brother's security background, and the people he knew, we were well equipped to do this, and provided this footage to Iceni. So this is just part one of proof to prove my connections to who I'm saying I am and what I was involved in. So we'll have a quick look at that footage now. You wouldn't have seen it anywhere before. This is my footage. I say mine, the group of people who are involved in providing this footage to the Black Panthers for security purposes. They had wind, there was a hit out on Pac from a higher level than the usual sources from the previous 2 attempts on his life. And again, there could have been more possible attempts that were bungled or failed or whatever. Anyway, so we'll have a quick look at that footage. This is my first little bit of proof. We'll get on to deeper proof about Tupac's survival and all the rest of it, so we'll have a look at that now. This is footage from the daytime outside the MGM, and I actually took this footage myself. So what I'm doing is laying the background to my information to prove who I am, evidence that I was actually there. People have doubted who I am and all the rest of it, and it seems a bit far out. This guy from the UK is involved in all this, and the reason again why I'm involved, and we'll get into that a bit later. But it's basically because no one else could be trusted, and I was unknown. So that evening, I was in the vicinity. I was just told to be close by, and received information that Pac had been ambushed.
The feds
and
and
I was just
CIA
told to wait for
been
further
on it,
information, and
even before Las
I'd receive
Vegas.
what to do next. So I got in touch with my brother. He told me that Pac had been ambushed and actually shot for real, and he'd been taken to the UMC. So he told me to just wait for further information. He'd be in touch ASAP. So about a couple of days later, I was speaking to my brother, and he'd had information that Pac was recovering, and I'd heard by the Black Panthers as well that was the case. And Jesse Jackson actually visited Pac while he was recovering in hospital, and my brother was horrified. And I said, "What's up?" And he said, "Jackson can't be trusted. We know for a fact he's possibly feeding information back." I fed this information back to the Panthers, and they then decided that they'd better hurry up and fake his death quick, in case they came to finish the job off. A plan was hatched in part of the faking Tupac's death. I was to visit a Dr. James Lovett, and to offer a donation for the hospital where he worked as a premise to get in the door. And once in and chatting, hopefully, especially me being a foreign guy, not known, a bit of a novelty from the UK, it's quite easy to get in his door. I introduced myself. I said, "Hello, I'm Michael Nice. I represent a business consortium who want to make a donation to your hospital." I did actually have an ID and my passport and stuff, and I said, "Look, this is who I am." I've been given paperwork as well, a little badge thing, just to make it look, all legitimate. Anyway, he offered me a drink, which I accepted, and we started talking about, the company's overview. And then I had to stop the conversation. I said, "I'm sorry, Doctor." I said, "Can I call you James?" He said, "Yeah, that's fine." I said, I'm sorry, James. I'm basically here to ask you a big favour and to reward you generously." And he said, I'm not sure, you acted all proper. "Oh, I'm not sure, sir, what you're talking about." I said, "Well," and I explained the story. I said, "Look, we need to pronounce someone dead. We basically want to fake his death because there's been an attempt on his life, and if we don't, he will for sure be dead." And he couldn't refuse once I told him the truth. He was willing to help. And I said, we'll make sure you're duly paid, not only to do the job, but never to mention a word. And if you do ever mention a word, you obviously could be in danger. And I actually had a down payment of $50,000 with me in cash. And he said, "Oh no, sir, I don't know if I can take it." And I said, "Look, put it somewhere safe. Just do what you like with it, and there will be more to come, assuming everything goes well."
By the way,
I
he
explained
is
to him
now.
that we wanted everything done proper, all official, as if it was anybody else. And unfortunately, he done the job a bit too well, in as much as the only mistake was the body that was provided, which I'll tell you about in a second. The weights and height didn't quite add up, and I don't know who's responsible for it, to be honest. Anyway, talking to my brother, well, I knew anyway, he'd gone to New Mexico with a woman called Gloria Cox. So my brother and Gloria Cox actually obtained a body which was, quite overweight, and, the height was out. And obviously a short space of time involved. They thought, well, that'd be overlooked because apparently Afeni Shakur was in on it as well, and she would identify the body as being Tupac. So at the time that didn't seem such a huge detail given the short space of time, and that's basically how it came about. And the big mistake was the doctor was instructed by me to do everything exactly as he should, and unfortunately he did. That was an oversight. It wasn't mentioned that the weights and heights may not be exact, and they were to match Tupac and not the actual dead body. Unfortunately, the doctor done his job too well, and that was a big mistake with hindsight. A lot of people pick up on it. The die-hard people who look into the details and search for the evidence found it quite easily. So yes, that is what happened. So at the time of the actual surgery, the body was waiting in the ambulance. The doctor was in the room. Afeni Shakur was present. Gloria Cox was present, and actually the two women had agreed with the doctor that he didn't have to witness the event. He could actually just turn his head, wash his hands or whatever. They quickly switched the bodies, one out of the ambulance, the dead body. Tupac, who'd recovered enough to get about fine by himself, he then transferred to the ambulance, and the next step was to transfer him to an airstrip. Again, with a Howard Marks connection, one of his showbiz friends, we had a private plane waiting to get Tupac on board. So the next thing that happened was me and my brother met Tupac at the safe house, also present with two Panthers. They had also brought another woman who was a makeup artist. They brought him a co-pilot's uniform. Park was going to be escorted to the plane by me and my brother and these two Panther guys, and he was going to be the co-pilot, which he was. And I did took a couple of looks. They'd done a good job. He looked similar, but you know, at first glance, you wouldn't say, "Oh, that's Park," you know. So yeah, good job, and we were impressed. So we felt comfortable. Escorted him to the plane. The two Panther guys were with us, and obviously the pilot was there as well. And we took off and we headed to the Barbados. So me and my brother, the pilot, Park, the co-pilot, two Panther guys. We took off, and as we were taking off, we were thinking, "Yeah, successful escape." I felt good. I was almost like escaping from prison. We were all really happy. Little hugs and handshakes, and still a little bit of trepidation. Obviously, we had to get to Barbados first, safe landing, and all the rest of it. You know, authorities and all the rest. We weren't sure what was happening. Were they one step ahead? A very tense moment as well. I think behind all the euphoria, if you like, there was little niggling doubts. Anyway, success to Barbados. Wow, what a journey. And we helped Park escape, and wow, yeah, what a feeling. Anyway, my brother, his next step, he stayed on the journey, escorting Park to Cuba. He got word to me that they successfully arrived, everything was good. And yeah, and you know, at that point, I felt good, that was good operation. And everyone was happy. Obviously, things happened after, minor details, slip-ups, all the rest. But yeah, at the time, great, success. We helped Park escape. So, you know, just to end this little section, what I've just told you about the airplane journey, when we got Park on as the co-pilot, I've actually got footage of Park on that plane, and you've all been asking for evidence, real, just one glimpse. I can prove, I've got the evidence. Park, footage of that incident where we smuggled Park, well, we didn't smuggle him, he was disguised as a co-pilot, that instant where Park was the co-pilot, and we took the journey. I've got footage of that journey, Park on the plane.
That went missing after this.
The thing that happened after that is I met up with the Panther guys, and you know, sort of just sort of little celebration, if you like, success well done, and the Panthers sort of respected me because I was a white guy. They was, you know, saying, "Well, what's your interest in all this?" And I said, "Look, guys, you know, you got a just cause. I'm all for just causes. I'm all for human rights and you know, fair treatment to anyone, whoever and whatever they are." So I said, "Guys, you know, obviously if I was black, I'd be one of you." And they said, "Oh, fella, you are one of us." I said, What do you mean?" They said, "Well, consider yourself an honorary Panther." And I said, "Oh, come off it, guys, there's no such thing." They said, "Well, no, not officially, but take the mark of the Panthers and you're one of us." And that's what I did. And I'll show you this, guys. You can see I didn't have this done yesterday. I am, I don't know if you can see that, guys, I am an honorary Black Panther.
Take a mark of the beast.
So it went, and yeah, that was good guys, and just causes and all the rest of it. And so I've got further evidence. I've got photos of Geronimo Pratt with Park in Africa, and
yeah,
a lot of people have said that
Panther.
I seen he's getting near to the truth where that's putting Park in danger. the fact he's alive, we're providing evidence of that. You know, if the agencies, whoever are after him, we're putting him in danger. And there's a lot of truth to that, so there's only so far we can go. We can point you to evidence, you know, that he's still around, and do your own research, and you'll find the truth. The Panther guys, you know, they couldn't praise me enough. They said, you know, you're an honorary Panther in our hearts and souls. And you know, I got the Black Panther tattoo as a mark of respect to the guys, to say, look, you know, yeah, I'm honoured to be one of you. And Panthers were getting ahead of the game. They'd seen how the agencies work, multiple ploys, diversion tactics, and fighting with their own weapons, and so we did. There was a fake helicopter incident where Park was supposed to be escaping on a helicopter, and there's a woman involved who was allegedly a witness, Paige Huff, or some other name. She changed the name apparently. Anyway, this Paige woman was actually came forward as a witness to this helicopter incident. All the details are out there on the web. You know, again, look around, do your research. And that was actually part of the Panthers' plan. I tell you, these guys are one step ahead. Basically, with the helicopter incident, the idea was to convince people this was the escape plan, and the authorities were apparently monitoring all helicopter ports and airports. Obviously, helicopters got limited range compared to you know, a normal type aircraft, and there was only a certain radius that that helicopter could come down. And apparently they did fall for the plan, and those helicopter ports, airports within that radius were being monitored. And because they took up all their resources, all the plane flights, and especially because that was a private plane owned by a well-known celebrity, which obviously cannot at any time be divulged, unless he himself, well, I've said he's a man, I've gave that away now, unless he himself come forward with that information, that will never come out. But yeah, brilliant plan. We filled the authorities. They were monitoring all the near-field landing places, and the plane was gone. Brilliant. So guys, you know, I don't want this video to be too long. I will be doing another video. I will be bringing forward more further actual evidence, pictures of Tupac with Geronimo Pratt in Africa. And yeah, watch this space. We'll do it as soon as we can. Like I say, a lot of this evidence is that we have to consider before we release it. The impact, the possible danger that could put people in. Park himself, that's very true. We can only get so close. And yeah, watch this space, guys. So my brother got word to me. He had contacts probably all over the world, and word got back that the CIA did get information that Tupac had survived. And my brother at the time lived in the USA. He had to go to South Africa, which is where he still is, and there is difficulties with him visiting the USA now. So yeah, the CIA are aware that he survived, so make what you will of that. Hopefully I can follow all this up, and I have got further evidence to bring out, all concerning the body and the body double. I've got photographs of Tupac with Geronimo Pratt. My brother's in possession of them. I'm now in the process of getting them transferred over. And yeah, there's more to come. Like I say, we have to consider everything we release. We can't just put Park in danger willy-nilly. There's other people involved on the periphery with possible criminal charges and all the rest of it, myself included. I did hear a rumour through a barrister that the American government were considering extradition treaties with the UK.
I wonder who's involved.
I think that's just nonsense, but who knows in this crazy age. I'm still looking into that one. The last thing I want is to have an extradition thing hanging over my head. So, you know, I've got to be careful, and for me and for other people. So, yeah, we'll be bringing more proof. Watch this space.
I bet.
I feel mad still that my brother.
Just to let you know real quick.
That's the
September 7th, 1996, Las Vegas. Shakur rides through the strip in a black BMW after the Tyson fight. Windows down, music loud, crowd electric. Then the gunfire erupts, an ambush at a red light. 6 days later, the headlines scream that he is gone. But what if that was never the truth? What if, in the confusion of hospital corridors and police press conferences, a different story was quietly unfolding, one that has only begun to surface in the past year?
All the records that I heard were like all one-sided. But I'm an actor and I was a poet, so I felt like if my story is to be believable, I have to tell the multifaceted nature.
We fast forward nearly 3 decades to July 2023. when agents in full tactical gear stormed the quiet Henderson, Nevada home of Dwayne Kef D. Davis. It was pre-dawn, the neighborhood still half asleep, when a swarm of armored vehicles boxed in the cul-de-sac. Inside, investigators seized hard drives, bullets, and one chilling piece of evidence: a dog-eared VIVE magazine cover with Shakur's face staring back at them, and Keffi D's tell-all memoir, Compton Street Legend, sitting in plain sight. This wasn't just another raid on a former street figure. The FBI made it clear the world's most famous unsolved drive-by wasn't being treated as gang payback anymore. It was being treated as a conspiracy. And that, for the first time, cracked open the official story. The raid was only the spark. Days later, hundreds of pages of grand jury transcripts were quietly unsealed. Buried in that testimony was a revelation that set the internet ablaze. Witnesses describing a man, bandaged but alert, boarding a private jet bound for Barbados within hours of the shooting. According to those transcripts, he matched Shakur's build, his voice, his unmistakable presence. If true, it meant the Las Vegas hospital vigil, the 6 days of breathless media coverage, may have been a staged curtain call. And suddenly, Michael Nice's long-dismissed confession from 2018 that he and the Black Panthers spirited Shakur out of the country with Fidel Castro's blessing no longer sounded like drunken fantasy.
You think?
Nice said he was part of the team that pulled off the escape, that a body switch was arranged, that Cuba opened its doors, and then, just as he promised to reveal proof, he turned up mysteriously gone himself. Another loose end in a case already strangled with them.
You said, hey, I just want to be alive. That's real for you. That's so real. I made a metamorphosis. I'm a new person today. Because I used to strongly and honestly, I feel like I could represent my generation so much because I honestly did not care whether I lived or died.
It's impossible not to notice the symmetry. Shakur's mother, Afeni Shakur, once stood in a New York courtroom as her own lawyer while carrying him inside her womb. A Black Panther accused alongside the Panther 21 of plotting to bomb police stations. She beat those charges, gave birth weeks later, and raised a son who sang both of Crack Fiend and Black Queen. If Michael Nice was telling the truth, was history repeating itself? The Panthers sheltering their most famous son? Another Shakur disappearing into exile? Another fight against a government machine determined to erase him? In the smoke and whispers, that connection is what keeps the theory alive. But why would anyone want him gone in the first place? The answer, as always, leads back to Keffi D. In his own words, on camera in print, he described Shakur's shooting as collateral damage, a payback for the beatdown of his nephew Orlando Anderson at the MGM Grand just hours before. That fight was caught on grainy hotel surveillance, fists flying, security scrambling. Keffi D claims the shooting wasn't about music or poetry, it was about vengeance. But even he couldn't resist raising the stakes. In interviews and in his memoir, he alleged that Sean Diddy Combs himself had put $1 million bounty on both Shakur and Suge Knight. The feud wasn't just East Coast versus West Coast. It was bad boy versus death
proof. Guess who's coming out and exposing P. Diddy from prison? Suge Knight. Suge Knight, his handler is the Central Intelligence Agency. Suge Knight was in the driver's seat, but his window was bulletproof. In the back seat of the car was one of the daughters of Quincy Jones that Tupac was dating at the time. One of the daughters of Quincy Jones, both of her passenger windows in the back seat were bulletproof. So the Central Intelligence Agency, the Rand Parts Division of LAPD, had to be careful, including a killer out of the Nation of Islam, who at the time was a member of the NOI Mosque in Atlanta, had taken out Tupac as a pretext to take out Biggie Smalls, who was about to leave Bad Boy Records. So it was Sean Combs, who was contracted by the agency, the CIA, and along with the Rand Parts Division, not the whole LAPD,
rising all over the internet and the news, as Suge Knight was doing several interviews with TMZ, as Suge Knight would mention that Tupac was doing fine in the hospital before passing, where he would state,
I mean, when I left that hospital, me and Pac was laughing and joking. So I don't see how somebody can turn from doing well to doing bad.
So you seriously think that he might still be alive?
I'm gonna tell you this, Pac, you never know.
But what's really weird about this is that if Tupac was supposedly in a deep sleep, then how in the world could he and Suge Knight be laughing if Tupac was sleeping? That doesn't really seem to be adding up. Then when you look at 2018, Suge Knight's son took it to Instagram to state a lot of the unanswered questions, as he would reveal that Tupac was still alive and living in Malaysia. Then shortly after, Suge Knight Jr. would post to his Instagram a photo showing a text conversation where somebody randomly texted
This is
him,
not
"You said
AI.
too much, it's time for you to go." With Suge Knight Jr. now scrambling and not knowing what this means, he would then start listing a ton of photos online showing Tupac alongside modern day celebrities such as 50 Cent and even Beyonce. He made it seem like someone was after him for leaking all of this info, as on the photo with Tupac and Beyonce, he would caption it, "He never left us, but they will be after me soon." Now, while many believe this was a publicity stunt for Suge Knight's son to gain social media clout, others believe this was all real, and that Suge Knight Jr. would be the one to know more about this case than anyone else in the world, considering his father was right there at the scene of the crime. As even back in the year 2014, Suge Knight said to TMZ something very similar, telling them that Tupac was alive and well.
So he was conscious on the way to the hospital?
He was conscious on the way to the hospital. He was conscious in the ambulance. He was conscious after they did the surgery.
What was the last thing that he said to you?
And then 6 months after he leaked this information to TMZ, he almost got into a serious altercation at a nightclub where a man was affected by a firearm. However, Suge Knight was hesitant to tell the police anything. Many believe that it was all connected to him talking to TMZ about Pac still being alive. Then in 2010, another rapper named Tretch was then interviewed on the topic of Tupac before a show. Tretch and Tupac were very close friends back in the day, even working on a few albums together, but here's where things get interesting. After Tretch's interview, the cameraman forgot to stop recording, placing his camera on the floor. In the footage, you can hear the interviewer asking him about Tupac, to which he responds, "Last time I saw him, he was in Cuba."
So if you ain't ready for it, get on the sidewalk.
One last question. Nobody knows. Y'all good? Yeah, we good. We good. Thanks a lot, man. We good.
As Tupac being alive in Cuba is easily the most popular theory to this day. His aunt has been living in Cuba since 1994 after she was convicted of doing a very serious crime in the United States and had to escape. And then in 2018, a website called Reposters posted a of Tupac allegedly partying with Rihanna in Cuba. Some say the photo is fake, but many believe that it's real. In fact, the Cuba theory has become so popular, famous rapper Kendrick Lamar even references it in his track titled Element, where he goes on and says the words, "Mr. 1 through 5, that's the only logic. Fake my passing, go to Cuba, that's the only option." As Eminem even mentioned it in one of his freestyles as well, where he would say, "A lot of talk and rumors on us. Who's the hottest? To be honest, hip-hop ain't been the same since Tupac moved to Cuba on us." Then when you add this with a video found in the year 2000, as a video was released to a news website of Tupac allegedly chilling in a parking lot in Cuba, things get very weird.
Zoom in. That's Pac, man. He with the outlaw. And Reg from Holla Back is trying to be friendly and get autographs. Holla Back exclusive, baby. Holla Back.
As in 2012, Suge Knight also said on the situation that Tupac's passing just didn't feel right. As Suge Knight went on a radio show and stated, "Maybe the question is, Tupac isn't really gone, and that he's somewhere else." Knight said live on the air, "Nobody's seen Tupac after it was announced that he passed. The person who's supposedly in charge of handling that situation got about $3 million personally from me in cash. And the next thing I know is I never heard from him or..."
They go Pac with his motherfucking homies right now. He holding a fucking coke Look, zoom in. That's Pop, man. He with the fucking outlaw. And Reg from Holler Back is trying to be friendly and get autographs and shit. Holler Back exclusive, baby.
This is the video. I found it. They see him. Hyde Park. Yo, that's crazy. 3 years after he died. Well, that's it. Y'all do your own homework. Check all the facts. This is all pure entertainment. I hope you were entertained. The Garbage Reacts. We signing out.